Hey there, so glad you could make it here today. I'd like to share another piece of my journey with you in the Confessions of a Twinflame Divine Feminine. And I realized that I had spent a lot of years of my life serving others, of putting my own spiritual journey on the back burner. And when that Kundalini got sparked in me, I realized that, you know what? I'm not going to wait for anyone. This is happening, right? And a lot of that came out, and I had been playing all these roles, like mother and wife and caregiver and all these different roles, even in my business, right? And I realized that I actually hadn't been living my soul. Even as a spiritual person, I was a card reader, I was a psychic, I coached people, but I hadn't been living my soul. I had been living a role. What does that mean? Well, what does that mean? That means to break down the programming that I had around my duties, if you will, my responsibilities. Were they responsibilities that somebody else could take over? I always thought that I'd raised my kids to be very independent, but being that, if I was going somewhere, I would end up taking care of the house even when I wasn't there, then I took that responsibility back from them and I played the mommy role, right? The mother role. And that would drain my energy. And you see, in order for the twin flames to do what they came to Earth to do, we need to keep our energy, right? In order for you to do anything that you need to do, you can't have all these energy drains everywhere, right? And so I had to lay down the roles that I was playing and get really real with myself. I had to live my soul and not a role. And these roles get taught to us throughout society. They get taught to us as ways to survive, as ways to thrive. And yet a lot of us drowned in them. Think about maybe whatever roles you're playing in your life, and do they add energy to you or do they drown you? For me personally, I was drowning. I was drowning. I had so many responsibilities and everything just weighing down on me that it was too much. So when I was going on my spiritual journey, on my Kundalini, I literally was being tossed around and being drained. And I saw so clearly that nothing else mattered but my soul. It's not that I'm saying my kids didn't matter, because of course they mattered, right? But what mattered is that I take care of myself, And while I'd been teaching this for years, and they were words coming out of my mouth, even beliefs that I believed in, I actually wasn't putting as much respect, putting as much energy, and definitely not putting as much love into my soul as I needed to. I had neglected myself. I'd put myself on the back burner, right? Well, I did this for my kids, or I did this for my husband, or I did this for my business, trying to keep up that rat race of trying to keep up, right? So coming to that point of living my soul and not a role has helped me to understand to do the things that I need to do, like spiritually, like meditate, like keep the connection going with the masculine and the feminine. And yes, I'm doing an infinity symbol here because that's the way that I do it, keeping the energy flowing, right? Instead of damming it up because, I don't have time to spend on myself. Pushing it off to the side. Living my soul and not a role means also diving into who I really am and not who I'm programmed to be. It reminds me of even growing my hair out gray. For years, I was taught that to cover the gray hair, that gray hair was shameful. Before gray hair really became popular, I was already feeling that I needed to grow my hair gray. So my soul already knew what it needed to do. And I needed to listen to that, right? I needed to live my soul and not some role I was playing. there's so many examples throughout my life and even in my daily life now of where I have to like really sit down and examine, why do I think the way that I do? What's motivating me? Is this coming from my soul, or is this coming from a role that's programmed into me, right? What I've found is that our soul is free. It is love. Anything else isn't it. It's just not. It's a role that I'm playing in some way or capacity, and that's just not divine, right? And to get to that beautiful, unconditional love, that alignment love, I need to live my soul. I need to live my soul, put my soul first. Put my soul first, and all the details will fall into place. I was going to say, ask my kids. Everything takes care of itself. Like everything. When I come from that place of soul, I'm coming from a place of love, just beautiful love and peace, and that's my foundation for whatever I'm going to do next. Take care of me first. Take care of my connection. Take care of that divine feminine and masculine flow within me, and keep it going. It reminds me of like tending to the fires, right? Kundalini is known as fires, and as we certainly have a lot of tower moments on our journey. If you don't know what a tower moment, there's a card in the tarot deck that's the tower, and it's all about everything burning down. It's like your belief system burning down and going up in flames and disappearing, right? And while it can be painful, it's a very good thing actually. And so it's like keeping the fires burning, right? Keep removing things that take me away from my divine journey, from being my soul. And so, yeah. So anyways, live your soul and not a role. That's my confession. And my confession is I didn't always do it. My confession is that I still am working towards that. And that's okay. So I'm going to give myself permission to keep working towards that. I'm going to give myself permission to be my soul and not a role. And nurture myself while I do that. Because I am the divine feminine, aren't I? Right? So the nurturing and the love for that, and being open to receive even more of that love, even more of that connection. So live your soul and not a role. So if you know somebody who needs to hear this message, then by all means, share it with them. Share the link with them. And, if this message spoke to you, give it a like, comment, let me know what you think. And I'm just so glad that you were here today, because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe you were meant to hear this message. All right? So you have a fantastic day. Take care.